as you go down through the film strip, right here you have art images, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 art images. Then you have images of what they're expected to do in terms of the actual activity. These are photographs of kids playing basketball, I can see. And then you have results at the end of the film strip. So the teacher could show the first part of the film strip to give the kids a background for the kind of imagery they're to create. Then they may or may not look at this one, but this is a great deal of imagery of kids in playground activity, and that's part of what they're supposed to represent. And then there's what are they? Okay, there's a bunch of sketches by kids of students moving around in playground activity, and this happens in every single film strip. So every single film strip begins with actual photographic images of the kind that they're expected to make, and then details of that, and then some final images by kids that they can look at evaluatively in terms of their own work. And that sequence goes on through this whole thing. Now, as I said, there's 12 of these. There's two books per year. This is a half of a school year. And this is grades 9, and is that right? No, yeah, I guess, yeah, it is 9, volume 9. So we did grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we made 2 books for every one. So there's quite a huge set of these materials. I don't have all of them, I have a few. And they're really quite interesting, and you can look at those while I'm blabbering on about this.
We recommend that students prepare lessons like that now.
Yes.
But it was innovative then. It was nothing like that.
Exactly, nothing like that at the time. And it was quite a fascinating project. And Dwayne and Mickey and I all worked on this project with Elliot's curriculum that came before this one, where we produced all the material that we put in a big box. So at the time that I was there, I could see that Dwayne was having a hard time finding a company to publish the curriculum materials we were developing. Now, the Regional Laboratory had writing projects, math projects, all of the school subjects practically. And most of them were being picked up by major publishers. And we were kind of disturbed because nobody wanted to take on the art project as a major project. But it turned out the person that did take it on was Phi Delta Kappa, which is right around the corner here from this building. Phi Delta Kappa took on SWRL's teaching curriculum and distributed it for a number of years, and they did very well by it. We did a lot of work business with it. Well, I had gone to Ohio State, and I got a call from Dwayne, I said, and we came back and we worked on this curriculum together for 2 years. He had worked on it already a couple of years previously, and I could see that we weren't going to sell the project. It didn't look like, and we were finishing the project, so I had to start shopping around for a job, and I went to about 6 places, and in every instance, the same people were going to the same places. So I knew exactly who I was competing against. It was very interesting.
They'll have this problem too when they're out there looking.
Yeah, you'll be getting into that soon. But I came here and I interviewed with Guy Hubbard and talked to a number of different people on the staff, and went away wondering whether I would ever get back there. And it turned out I was fortunate. I returned to California, but I got a phone call from here asking me to come here to work. And all kinds of things are going on at the same time. I won't go into them in great detail, but I was having marital difficulties and so on. And I left my wife in California and had applied for a divorce and came here then as a single person. And I was here a very short time.
Very short time, because I was here.
You were a student.
I was a student of Guy Hubbard's.
Right.
And I didn't know you yet. That was the year you were being hired. And then when I went to teach, you came, and my classmate was Enid Zimmerman, who was recently widowed.
Right.
Recently.
So
And
she and I became very good friends and ended up getting married, and I've been married to her ever since. So we've had a grand time here. We were about a year and a half going together, and then we got married, and we've been here, what, 30?
oh, don't tell. It's been a while.
A long time. A long time. I've been retired over 12 years now, so you can imagine. I started 20 some odd years before that. So it's been a long time. When I was here, I was doing a number of different things, and particularly doing some beginning writing and so on, as a professor's supposed to do. And once again, I got a phone call from Dwayne asking me if I would be interested in another curriculum project, and this was DBAE. And the history of this is long, and I won't go into the whole history, but it's amazing. Dwayne had written an article which was published in Studies, I think.
No, I think it was visual arts research.
Visual arts research. And in the meantime, Paul Getty had died. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Paul Getty's history or any of what he was or who he was, but Paul Getty was a owner of Getty Oil Corporation, which was a national oil corporation. And I could tell you stories about Getty that would blow your mind.
He was not a very nice man.
Not a nice man. He had to pay telephone in his house for his guests because he wouldn't let them use his telephone. But anyway, he died, and he left a very major estate. And there were a bunch of family members. There were 3 sons and a daughter.
And the grandson.
And grandsons and ex-wives and all kinds of people. But anyway, everybody sued the estate. For 11 years, the state was in court being challenged by a succession of relatives. And during those 11 years, the estate doubled in value. It became twice as much money as it was when he left it. An amazing story. At the end of the 11 years, there were no more challenges to the estate, and there was a public reading of his will. Well, there had been readings of his will previously, of course, but there was a public reading, and everybody was shocked because the will said, I leave X amount of money, and it was very, very large amount of money. I can't remember now the exact amount. 13 million, if I remember correctly. It was $13 million.
Which was a lot more back then than it is now.
Which was, yes. I leave this money for the improvement of art education, or art in the United States, period. That's the whole will.
Wow.
Nothing else in the will whatsoever. No people mentioned, no family members mentioned, no nothing. And everybody was absolutely, totally shocked. But what happened was that a group of people who had the wherewithal to take it over, they became known as the Getty Foundation.